Hey everyone, welcome to the Free Guy Spoilercast and Review, the most demanded content you've ever wanted from us here at the GigaBoots Podcast Network. We've got the fullest crew. We've got Bob.
Hey.
We've got KZ Excellent from kzexcellent.com.
I'm wearing a blue shirt.
We've got Mr. Field from Mr. Field's Wild Ride.
The writer of this also wrote Ready Player One.
And we've got Dr. Aggro from Dr. Aggro.
Mom, don't touch that sock.
Oh, God. That's... You know, when we set into the new year, I was really excited to watch something good on Netflix. I watched Smash. Other people should watch it. This was not on Netflix.
It was a few bucks on Amazon.
I like an idiot. What was it? $6? Yeah, $6.
Yep, $6.
I needed that 4K HDR experience for Free Guy.
I need
really
that
earned
for
it.
I need that for every new film that releases.
The regular one's $6 too.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. This is the major hit of last August. We just really needed to get this content out there, and sometimes some corners need to be cut. So please forgive us if we haven't had enough time to mull over the nuances of the plot, and maybe we missed some important details. You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this like the gaming ones. We're gonna do this like the huge. Outside of, I think the Capcom trilogy of Netflix things fell into us not following the normal formula because it felt like falling down a deep well.
Part of me vaguely remembers Dragon's Dogma having it, but I'm unsure because I don't remember much of that phase of my life.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, one or more of those did not follow the actual format of the show.
I don't think we did it for it or Cowboy Bebop. I think we're like, no, we just start blasting.
Just go. But for this one, I thought it would be really neat if we have a couple sentence summary of how we feel on the film Free Guy and make some sort of mouth sound that, ties to that emotion that we feel when we think about the fact I paid $6 to watch this movie. We're going to go ahead and start this off with Mr. Feel.
So I went into Free Guy. I was the one who suggested this endeavor after I watched it on my own. And I was like, well, this got like 7s and 8s, and people were like, no, it's not a cynical, wholesome movie. Needless to say, I have cut every single person who said that out of my life. The Matrix for straight people.
Okay, we're going to move from that end to the Dr. Aggro end. Dr. Aggro.
Free Guy is a movie that was pretty good when it came out in 2012.
That's still too late.
It's entirely baffling how completely harmless this movie feels, unless there are some things about it that I'm not just making up and are actually in there, in which case... Uh-oh.
We're going to move over to Bob. Bob?
A Free Guy is like an hour of infantile understanding of how video games or really anything is produced. But then the last 30 minutes is kind of funny, so I'll give it a...
Bob, are you saying there's heroes on both sides?
Yes.
We now go to KZ.
It's been a while since I've seen a film that is entirely carried on one person, that it would cave in on itself like brutally and bloodily if they weren't involved. Some parts of this were really like, ugh. But I did enjoy myself in the last like half, so I'm like, eh.
Okay. I would say it compares favorably to science fiction films and action video games such as Ready Player One, The Truman Show, The Matrix, Grand Theft Auto, and Fortnite because I'm reading the wiki page. I think that's a decent length for a podcast.
All right, fucking GB Podcast Network. Aggro, what parts of the movie did you make up?
Could it have been the part where Ryan Reynolds, Guy, is looking down at his black friend, and who is on like on the ground, and says wistfully, and as like meaningful music plays, life doesn't have to be something that just happens to us.
It's
Okay. Can we do the fun parts of the movie first?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I want to circle back to Bob's observation that not since CSI has a piece of media so belligerently not understood what a video game is.
I'm all about ones and zeros, aggro.
I actually want to cycle back to the other part of what Bob said, because it was surreal watching it happen in real time. Of the first hour and 10 minutes of this movie are genuinely terrible and made me feel like I was watching Jumper again for the first time.
Stop talking about Jumper!
What? Yeah, it's very cringe.
The movie just passed through me, this ethereal, I'm watching the blueprint for a movie filmed and made real before my eyes. They forgot to fill in pronouns like a Mad Lib. But then, like, you get past that, and it starts genuinely being really funny in a way I didn't expect, because, quite frankly, Dude is one of the funniest things in the movie possibly ever.
Yes.
If not for the writing specifically for Dude, which, for those who have not seen the movie, is evil Ryan Reynolds, made by the creative director of the game Ryan Reynolds lives in, which is a half-baked character concept full of catchphrases such as catchphrase, which he says while
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, no, it's
I thought that
fucking
was really
hilarious.
fucking funny.
Yes. When he lists his favorite things of violence,
TBD, to be declared, and third thing.
Ryan Reynolds put in more work than this movie deserved.
Oh yeah, he fucking carried this movie twice over.
100%, and like the last 40 minutes or whatever exists past that first hour and 10 is so clearly like, did Ryan Reynolds just come in and do a rewrite? This just seems like it's directly out of his brain.
Now see, that's bizarre, because I had the complete opposite experience of this movie.
Really?
I really enjoyed the more harmless, linear, formulaic first part of the movie. And then from the moment Dude shows up, like, he says catchphrase and then it's all downhill.
Really?
how?
Yeah.
Man.
Hated the last half hour of this movie.
That's amazing. So you're the free and I'm the guy. That's awesome, dude. That's holy shit, I wish I watched this movie next to you, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I'm like, that's when we had jokes, like bringing the security guard thing near the end, where he does the self-sacrifice movement and is like, I'm okay with this. And then it cuts to the outside world where the security guard's like, that guy's a hero.
Yeah, I love that.
I fucking loved that.
I love that the security staff at the game developer has just completely turned on the creative director through the sole means of, we love the security guy.
Hands down, best gag in that movie is during the montage where Guy, you know, he's gonna go around doing the taking the guns away thing, and they huck a grenade at him, and he looks at it and he watches it count down, and he goes to throw it back, and the truck drives by.
Yes, that is actually very, very good.
Genuinely hilarious.
Did before they watched it, I presume everybody had a vague idea of the plot of this movie before they watched it.
Yeah.
Like they knew, like, NPC acquires sentience.
Right.
Did anybody else go into this not expecting at all, like, the B plot that justified it?
What layer of the bleep? Oh, you mean, okay, just the idea that the AI written
Like,
by these two that was bought.
I didn't expect there to be, like, actually he's a super advanced AI that they wrote and got stolen. I thought this would just be like, we don't know why he's sentient. Like, but the movie's about it.
Yeah, I
I
also
was
thought
super
that.
glad when it hit, because like it started and I'm like, are we not going to front load this with anything? Like a shot of somebody spilling coffee on a server? Nothing?
The ultimate 1992 fantasy film.
Fucking Garth Marenghi Dark Place moment of, look out, we need to reset the servers. It's a Freaky Friday. I don't know. Like, for me, I didn't expect the element to be a corporate takeover. of their game that these two indie darlings made that then just gets shoved into their GTA. I assume there was some super science because, machine learning and all sorts of things like that are happening right now. So you assume at some level this movie, like even without knowing what that plot line was, or at least I did, I assumed at some level it would go into, we had an experiment running. They had a modal running and there was an AI inside.
No, stop.
What?
Matrix Resurrection.
I don't remember that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, then that would explain why it didn't land. So I assumed they were going to do that. Like I when I first saw the movie, I was like, or the trailer for the movie, I assumed at some level there was going to be some, computer science cutting edge reason, vaguely. I did not expect corporate takeover of indie darling that has super AI in it.
Yeah, like I thought that aspect of the plot, for how completely ignorant this script is of how computers work at all, I thought like that was brilliant for how dumb the rest of this movie is. Like, yes, this corporate douchebag like is using this mostly complete game and just referencing parts of the code to make the AI work for his NPCs, but he doesn't know how to extract that part of the code, so he just has that whole game physically in his engine
that
just references
like
that
bizarrely accurate.
Yes, that
considering
is
how little of a
incredibly
clue. Also, I really need to shout out like the costume department of this movie and makeup for making the dude from Stranger Things, who is the indie dev in this, look like when he's in game dev mode, look like just I don't like looking at him. I have to turn away. It's like intense Phil Fish radiation coming off him.
I was going to say they really nailed the Phil Fish, which will work either way for you depending on how you feel about that.
It's also insanely funny at the end, at the conclusion of the movie's bizarre cuck arc, where he's like transforms into love interest man.
Yeah,
and has an entirely different haircut and costume.
It was almost like a horror movie stinger. But it was a romantic comedy stinger.
No, it seriously was horrific. Like when guys, oh my god! So like they do the really bizarre nonsensical server reboot equals earthquake scene, and then like, oh no, guy's gone back to being a regular NPC. Everything's wiped, and then she kisses him, and oh, guy's back, and it's great. And then at the end, it feels like his new self-aware personality got hard overwritten by like 4 lines of dialogue that guy programmed in to redirect that girl to him.
Look, I'm just saying right now, I realize the thing I need to tell you is if you go to our sponsor, Audible.
I was honestly losing my mind. First of all, the scene Aggro's describing where he like gets rebooted back into a normal NPC lasts like 45 seconds.
It does.
It doesn't matter at all, but I was screaming when she gives him the kiss and there's like he enters the big think dimension. Yeah. The webs of color are coming off his head.
Yeah, those are all the threads.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, NPC. Yeah, I think we can all agree, Aggro disagrees from me at least on the quality of beginning versus, once again, he's the free, I'm the guy. The end has strong rewrite energy. Like, not only because, like, apparently, I guess this was being made by Fox.
20th Century Studios was our logo at the end.
And then in the last like 30 minutes, it starts going, we're going to go hard on Disney properties.
Yeah.
Because Disney acquired the movie midway through production.
Right?
And Ryan's like, I'm going to have fun with all these toys I can use.
He's like, thank God I have Deadpool 1 and 2 to point at, so that way they'll let me do anything here. Because it felt like that, yeah.
I really enjoyed that scene ending with him putting the glasses on. Dude.
Yes, no, that's the funniest part of that scene for sure.
I thought some of the references were cringe, like the lightsaber thing, but then when dude starts blocking the lightsaber with his muscles, I was like, okay, no, this is fine.
No, that's when it was okay. It was okay because this buff dude could take a lightsaber to the skin. I too was at the same level of just like, I don't know. Jade and Silent Bob Strike Back came out a long time ago. I'm not sure that pulling out a lightsaber in your movie is remotely funny in 2022.
Yeah, like he pulls out the shield and the Hulk fist. I'm like, okay, because the whole first part of the movie, it's been subtle and good, and like, oh look, a Halo tank in the background, Mega Buster for 2 frames. Like, yeah, this is how you do this.
Dan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dan, did you mention Jay and Silent Bob? Because that scene also features like very similar big foam fists as the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, dude plays cock knocker. But yeah, no, that actually did remind me of that. But I'm damaged. I understand that. I was just trying to think of the last movie where it was like, I even gave it rope when it pulled out a lightsaber as a joke, like any rope at all. And I was like, yeah, I think that was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And it was a bong lightsaber. So at least there was an extra layer of thought there, aside from pulling out just a lightsaber. But yeah, no, I feel like as much as I enjoyed the ending, the part where it was like, here's a Captain America thing and a Hulk thing, and I pull out a lightsaber and I love Disney, was not great. But I do enjoy everything past a certain point in the movie. Just it's this weird area where it just started being really funny to me. And I'm not sure the exact scene where the turnover happened.
It's Dude.
I mean, Dude's hilarious.
Right before
It was
that.
a little bit before that, though.
Right before that, when they go to the YouTuber's house, like he knows Guy and is a big fan.
Yeah.
There are few good jokes in there. It's also got the horrible yelling at his mom stuff.
And the sock joke, yeah.
Yes. But it has a few good jokes in there where he's like, "Oh yeah, pose with me." Oh, dude, my catchphrase. I'm like, this is pretty good.
I love his streamer form so much. That actor is great.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I also know them from. I think the casting of Channing Tatum as the player character for that guy.
Yeah, that
It's
that was
hilarious.
him.
Yes.
God damn it, I did not recognize him. I thought he was great.
Yeah, no, he really nailed the energy of I am video game form of that guy.
Yes.
Also, way to have like a backup Kevin Hart. That was amazing.
I think like the one fake streamer in this movie, the movie's filled with reaction shots of actual streamers.
Yeah, those are terrible.
The one fake streamer, like the line that gave me a stroke when I was watching it, I'm like, what fucking 80-year-old man wrote this? Is where the mom is like the streamer's mom, because they're a man child who lives with their parents, is like, she says like, I'm already in hell because my 22-year-old son still lives with me.
The exact line.
Have you looked at the world in the span of the past 20 years?
Yeah, I was like 22. That's insanely young for this line.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The exact line was, there is no God. He's screaming because she interrupted his stream. And then she goes, you're damn right there's no God. You're 22 and you still live at home.
This movie has a lot of written by 80-year-olds energy. Like, if you look at the company, which, okay, props, Tsunami is totally something I could see a publisher or a developer being named the way it's spelled. But nobody in that company looks like they're over 30. Because this script is stuck in that old-ass idea that all computer companies are run by teenagers.
I like that the main guy, the runner of Tsunami, is clearly just a meme from Ninja series.
See, I get visual design, like with the hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially DMC era where he was being stylish. He's really reeled it back since then. But honestly, because of all of the lines for him and everything else, he just gives me huge Ubisoft vibes. Like he's just some guy at Ubisoft who's silently being evicted.
Are you sure that wasn't just because of the Assassin's Creed outfit he had on?
I mean, that is one element of it for fucking sure. But this thought trail just led me to comparisons with Mythic Quest that I wasn't really ready to have when I set out to watch this movie. I like Mythic Quest more than this movie. But man, the last like 40 minutes were really funny in a way I did not expect. Thank you. Free year of Apple TV so I could check out Mythic Quest. I don't recommend most people do that except for those 2 random episodes that are completely different from the rest of the series.
I had some hope earlier in in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain things where I was like, man, this is actually kind of neat. When the two dudes from the developer go into the game as police officers to figure out what's up with Guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so Ultima Online. I love it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
What was killing me is the energy that the white guy, the Stranger Things guy, as a cop, has like this really intense whitest kids you know energy.
Yes, his mustache really sold that.
Oh,
For
I was
sure.
getting Super Troopers energy.
That too, but like even shittier, which is where I feel like whitest kids you know hit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. I understand.
So I actually
And
go on.
And then and then it like shifts into the weird boomer mode where it's like we killed him, so he's logged out of the game.
Yes, it becomes really poorly written, but it's really neat,
Right?
conceptually.
It's like, I'm going to go God mode. Like, oh, okay, you're going to do a really, really complicated terrain manipulation
Yes.
thing, not freeze his movement or
Yeah.
ban his IP or...
I thought it would be something like, oh yeah, then I become invincible and no clip
Right.
around.
Right.
But no,
Time to go God mode. Still has to take the stairs.
right?
I'm a creator god.
There's a few things, like I believe that scene is the beginning of my relationship with this movie where I'm just like, okay, you're not going to fully nail exactly what this idea is supposed to be or maybe fully flesh things out. And then the next major arc of that was blue shirt guy is the most popular guy in our game. No one ever interacts with him in the game at all.
Yes.
I love
Channing
it.
Tatum's the only human who's like, holy shit, you're the guy.
They cut to places around the world that are like, he is taken over. Here's people in Japan. Here's a cosplayer.
I thought that one was funny, but I mostly thought it was funny because that kid reminded me of like almost like Arino-esque.
Yeah, for me, that kid, like somewhere between Arino and Conan cosplayer. It was like,
Yes,
oh, this
had
is
that
delightful.
energy.
This is delightful. I really like this. But yeah, I think it was between that and our game is an MMO, but an FPS, and it has levels.
Get to level 100.
No,
there's a really
not
weird
not
thing.
experience levels. They have stages they boot into. There is a scene where she selects what stage to boot, and I'm like, what is this movie?
Well, see, this game doesn't run on the SSD, so it can't all be seamless. You have to load into zones.
Yeah, it seems to be like 4 blocks, and then there's the out of bounds wall.
Yes.
Remember, this is what they would call a super game.
Yeah, I like when they go to the shoreline. It's
No.
like this is the worst MMO ever made, isn't it? This is the worst open world game ever. There's just a wall before the ocean.
Yeah, it's not like it's not even like Truman Show where it's like 100 feet out. It's literally like he throws a rock and it instantly bounces back into his face.
Yeah.
I like that, and I was like, this open world is terrible. And then they're like, there's a plot reason why this is like this.
Yeah, I was glad that there was a plot reason. It would have been really weird to be like, this is how this world works and not pick up on that. It just
that
made me
scene
think of
drove
No
me
More Heroes
insane,
1's
though.
open world,
Yeah.
where it's just like, you can't touch the water. What do you
That
do?
scene drove me insane because he like shoves his hand through the Truman Show-esque wall. And then it's like, wow. And then we move to a whole nother scene. Like there's no follow-up for him doing that. It's just over.
Sometimes look, a lot of people don't understand the nitty gritty of making a movie like I do. Sometimes you just put a scene in of a man putting down a gun with Chekhov written on it.
So, speaking of game mechanics, at 2 points in this movie, Guy removes the glasses from a player character. And the second time he does it, we see that it has deactivated their HUD.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a thing other players can do to each other? Because that would be like the top meta move. And no one ever does it.
I think that person's entire account is just whatever those glasses are looking at now. Like when they log in, that's it. That's
Well, no, they just, it removes all the HUD elements. They're still playing from that perspective.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because when he takes the glasses and puts them on, it's like his stats from before that.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. It's like that is the money he had in a previous scene.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, something they keep showing every time money comes up is that his PIN number is 1111.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good. I enjoyed the first ATM scene. The second one was mildly ruined by them doing the weirdest thing in the background of looping a guy jumping into a wall.
That was the best.
It was like,
what is...
that's a very video game thing, but I don't know why that man was CG. Like, you couldn't just have a real practical dude do that?
No, because
Well, no, it's a video game.
Yeah, it's a
Every shot where they're like, here's what it looks like in the real world. This video game is immaculate.
Yeah.
It looks so it's Mafia City.
Yes, it is
Yes.
those Mafia City ads I get on Twitter. And I was like, this is great. That looks nothing like Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the glasses scene where he steals them.
Yeah.
When he does it the second time and tries to give them to his friend,
Yeah.
I thought this movie was going to be absolute gold and it would become They Live.
Yeah.
You just has that fight
you were
scene.
calling it out.
Where he's just like, put on the glasses, and his friend says no, and Bob's like, are they going to do the They Live thing? And I'm like, there's no fucking way.
God,
I was
that would 5 points. 5 extra points this movie would have gone up.
Yeah, immediately. It would just get a perfect 10, basically,
Because it has a 10-minute drawn-out fight in a bank lobby. Yeah, that would be unhinged.
yeah.
I was hoping a little bit of that energy would work it in later when Molotov Girl takes Guy out of the bank and then runs him into a back alley. I was like, cool, are we going to have They Live moment now? Are we going to have this, like, forcing him to wear the glasses thing be a developed thing, or forcing him to wake up his AI thing be a more developed thing, but then it's just kissing? And I was like, okay. Thank you.
Molotov Girl.
Yes.
Purely aesthetically, I'm really digging the like exposed brigandine shirt under the blouse look for like a clothed half armor thing.
Yeah.
I have nothing to connect it to. It's just I thought that was a really, really good aesthetic choice that stuck in my head.
For some reason, it reminds me of PUBG. It might literally be a costume from that. I'm not sure, though.
Huh.
I feel like I've seen it before, but at the time, all I can think of when I was watching it, all I could think of looking at her was, why is she like weird knockoff Trinity?
All I could think of is, yeah, this looks like a giant MMO with a ton of outfits that leans more into the guns the duel territory of the school of thought of character design and outfits. It genuinely looks like some hyper premium thing, which is why in the coffee shop she goes, yeah, I'm in here because I'm digging up info for a lawsuit. I'm like, you have that skin? That is not a convincing excuse.
Okay. I think it's really weird that they have the other developer of the original indie game working at Tsunami.
Well, she sold out.
Everything around him being there feels bizarre because it's just like, dude, how did you not know that your code was in this game? You're a coder on this game. It's such a leap of faith of like, what are you doing?
No, he doesn't work on the game. He works in like complaints and bug fixes, customer relations. He doesn't seem to actually do any coding on the game.
Yeah, because if you recall, he's asked, like, are you sure you don't want to go up to programming?
That's true, which if you just did, then he would know immediately that his game is just sitting in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's really weird. It's almost like it should be part of a story of some sort of settlement or something that involves that guy getting a cushy job. Because you would think that would be the only way that sort of situation would end up like that.
Yeah.
I just realized that the art team seemed to be solely responsible for activating Dude.
Yes.
Like putting him from the completely incompatible Free City 2, porting him back to Free City 1 and getting him up and running.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost like most people don't know shit about this who wrote this.
Which, I mean, that Dude himself links back to the whole 80-year-olds wrote this. Like, okay, so Guy is our nerdy video game hero. Well, what's the most horrible anti-thing for that? A beach bully from the 1980s. Yep, that's what he made for his next video game. All right.
As soon as he popped in, I went, This came out the same year Space Jam 2.
Look,
where it's how do we make someone threatening? Make them bigger through CG and other effects.
At least it felt delightful in this. In Space Jam 2, it was just fucking causing brain death.
Yes.
I think the tattoo of the little blue shirt on his chest really
so
sold
good.
it.
It's so funny.
yeah, that was
That's how
gold.
that design became a 10 off that.
Especially when he taps it in one of the scenes to be like, "It's you," and I lost it. But yeah, to contextualize the 1980s buff beach bully or whatever, this movie constantly plays the song "Fantasy" by Mariah Carey. So when it put me in that headspace of playing that song at least 5 times, including the slow motion version for the really dramatic scene, that made that decision make a lot of sense. And part of me went, maybe this is also in the creative director's brain. He is also constantly looping "Fantasy" by Mariah Carey. Maybe that's the only song in this world.
Look, sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you get parts of the song Fantasy stuck in your head for decades because you watched Rush Hour on VHS when you were a kid over and over and over again. And you had no idea what that song was, but the memory of a 10-year-old Chinese girl singing it has just been looping in the back of your mind your
thank you.
entire life.
I was trying to remember. I was like, I know that song showed up in a movie I watched. And then you started describing Rush Hour, and I was like, yeah, it was that, because Bob and I even watched Rush Hour, like, again, like in the last few years. What was the scene with that? Oh, right. Oh, my God.
So sometimes madness makes you create a film, okay?
Truer words.
But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about here. The plot isn't a lot to dig into, I don't think. I think we've said most things about most of the plot that you could.
Well, I mean,
There's the darkness.
so I spent a while this plot was unfolding. Because the movie has 2 parts. The first part where it's, Guy gains sentience, and I thought it was going to be an interesting number 5 is alive kind of movie. But then it flips in the middle after Molotov Girl does just the dumbest, worst ever "your world is fake" scene, because no one in this world even remotely connected to an industry that could possibly in the future maybe tangentially be related to giving birth to a self-aware, curious AI. No one who works in any of those industries has not practiced first contact with their own burgeoning creation over and over and over again as a fantasy. Fuck that scene.
Oh yeah, no, her having made the AI makes that pretty unbearable. Like, you should understand it all, what the
Right? They're all like,
gravity
"Oh
of
my
what you're
God,
doing.
It's amazing. He's real. Our thing that we did intentionally worked." And then she gets in there. "You're fake. Your whole world's fake. You're not real." What the fuck, lady?
Yeah, even before that, where he's like, "I'm in love with him. He can't be the AI I made." It's like, no, lady, this is.
Have you talked to
huge.
any nerd ever? I'm pretty sure it'd be like, hell yeah, he's in love with me.
I just sit here and I think about, their first game, which was something Life. I can't remember the exact name, but
Life itself.
Life itself. Thank you.
Second Life?
Second Life itself. And I have to wonder how many people in that also have all of her exact interests, and she just never noticed.
No, he's the one. Okay.
I don't know. It sounded like her partner there hard-coded various preferences into the AI generation algorithm. What I'm trying to say is this world might be full of a lot of people who love bubblegum ice cream.
God, it's so creepy.
Yes, it is. That is genuinely creepy.
We kick over into the second half of the plot where it becomes something else. And I was trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to make this track with something. Like, is this the metaphor for something? What's the core struggle that we're having? What are we fighting against? Oh my God. This is a struggle against oppression story written for people who aren't oppressed.
Yeah.
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 This is a 1990s, oh, our true oppression is that our lives are boring, and that's super valid story.
Yes.
God, aggro. Oh, God. Every time I think about how many movies from the 90s are like, I'm upper middle class, but spiritually unfulfilled. How will I ever survive? And I'm like, oh.
That sounds like a cursed content list.
Oh, most of those movies are good. Like Office Space is good.
Yeah.
But the problem is things have gotten so much worse. It's now comical.
Yeah.
Right?
No, the problem is they super aged like milk.
Yeah, another one of those things was like, this film was great when it released in 1995.
Like, oh man, did I give up on my art to chase material wealth? Bitch, I can't pay my rent.
I wish I could make that decision.
Right?
I like that dude in the movie when they gather everyone together and he can't put his arms down. Like that guy.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite character.
That's like a very 2002 comedy character.
He tried.
Now, did anybody else start to like stroke out a little bit when Taika Waititi starts talking about sequels and I'm flashing back to the Matrix Resurrection?
No, I was just caught up on being like, is this literally a joke specifically about Overwatch 2?
Yeah, because I looked and I'm like, Tsunami, Blizzard, and even like the letter, it's like the separated letters that are like trying to mirror what it is. I was like, it feels like you're really leaning in on that.
It reminded me of Overwatch 2 because we have wildly successful thing. Sequel launch soon. What is sequel? I don't know. Fire.
Yeah, so we're not sure what the sequel is. Let's shut down the whole original game.
Also, I lied about backwards compatibility between the two games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, we're totally gonna get away with that. Like, nah.
What?
bro.
No, probably not. That might affect your press cycle at bare minimum. That energy is one of the many energies in this film that makes me go, it would help me connect with your film if it made fucking sense.
Yes.
We're dropping the most expensive game ever made, shadow dropping effectively. You got like 3 days.
Because the thing is, this thing is clearly like, if you want to like, it's GTA Online, right?
Yeah.
In what world does Rockstar go, we're making GTA Online 2 and shutting one down?
Tomorrow.
Like immediately.
Yes.
No one in their mind goes, we're so confident in new product, starts cutting loose from parachute.
Yeah, it's
I sincerely thought. Oh, Casey.
it's just genuinely insane, everything around the development of their games they're making. And the entire time I thought the resolution of this film would be like, oh, there's gonna be like real crimes that happen that'll make the bad guy like go to jail or something, because this feels like a type of film to do that. But the resolution is just he gives over ownership to this thing and his game doesn't do well, so he just does really bad interviews and starts balding on camera. I like the comeuppance was a lot more minor than I was expecting.
Maybe he should have immediately done that GDC panel where he makes a joke that Free Guy's a gay cowboy. Maybe that would have helped his public image leading into launch of number 2.
I can't believe Microsoft bought them. But please, Aggro, go on.
I want to take this movie and show it to everyone who knows anything about video games. And the moment they start to cringe, go, that is what it looks like every time swords show up in media.
What's the problem, Aggro?
Yeah, it's kind of shaped the same way, but it doesn't work like that at all.
I didn't have high expectations for the accuracy and legitimacy of game development in this film, but I thought on a scale of cringe to death because it's so inaccurate to pleasantly surprised, this is pretty close to the real thing. I thought he would be a little bit closer to that last part, the better end of the spectrum than Mythic Quest, but it landed the other way weirdly enough. I thought it would be that much a little bit more legitimate. But then you get all of the things from Taika Waititi's character where he's just like, yeah, we're going to shut that down and have no money and go into the next thing. And I'm like, this makes me miss the days of the realism of Mythic Quest.
I'm going to stop him exposing me by moving his physical character in the game world by hitting my servers with an axe.
Yes.
That was the most insane one where it's just like, no, it doesn't just knock everything offline. It only knocks parts offline, and the world starts
slowly
compressing into Daybreak Town from Kingdom Hearts, where it has the same tower.
Part of me can deal with that, but then you got to contend with, you're taking an axe to this shit when you could just throw the circuit breaker.
Right?
Yeah, I also thought
So
that.
But
he's
he's a-
hacking
he's
it
a
up,
he's
villain.
fucking
making all the
stupid.
terrain do dumb things, and while the servers are corrupting from being axe hit, Stranger Things is hot coding in a piece of terrain to angle 45 degrees.
Upgrading ramps.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna because he watches Taika Waititi walk into the server room.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to do something in the world, go confront the villain. But no, he's just like, no, I can't.
We have a great cast of characters: Taika Waititi, Stranger Things, and Ryan Reynolds.
I like this final showdown of he's like, I haven't broken this one server thing left. It's the last line of defense. And this is how we will do negotiations.
The server room is at 1 HP, so everything's fine.
Exactly.
I thought the Stranger Things friend, whoever that other guy from The Office was.
Oh, okay, the one who's originally Office simp, but then
Yes.
has the turn.
Yeah, he has the turn at the most random time. It's
Oh.
like, how did you not get this until now?
He put that on the mental back burner, so it took a little bit longer for him to wait. I
The
suck.
fucking the rabbit guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
God.
Rabbit guy.
His
Bunny?
magnetic removable face rabbit costume was actually some tech.
He could have used that tech to be anything cool, and then he didn't.
What was it? We're rabbits. We eat. We fuck, and we slit throats.
Yes, we're fucking alpha predator.
Shit, man. I would have grouped with that guy.
Now, here's the most confusing thing about the credits for this movie. It says music by, and then it doesn't list Mariah Carey. I don't know how that's even
What?
possible. There are a lot of neat parts of this film that seem like neat things to look at happening on a screen, right? And there's a really good narrative excuse envelope of, hey, it's a video game, so it's okay that the CG looks bad. And while watching this, I turned to Bob and I'm like, every movie should just take place in a video game like the newer Assassin's Creeds.
Yep.
It just would give a narrative reason for any and all budgets of CG on screen. But I feel like it's really hard to imagine a version of this film where they retool it to make it a truly great film. I can't even wrap my head around where you would begin and what you would do. Now I'm more interested mentally in imagining the Netflix series of this movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
because this movie's two main problems to becoming a truly great piece of art are, one, you'd either have to actually follow through on the burgeoning artificial intelligence gains sentience storyline, which, those movies won Oscars, but nobody likes them.
Yeah.
And two, I swear to God, if you're making a movie that deals with video games, the stakes, unless it's a video game tournament, cannot take place within the video game.
They had cool gamer headphones. They had to keep reminding you they got HyperX.
That actually bothered me a lot when when Molotov Girl was sealed in the chamber at the coffee shop for 8 hours, they say.
Yes.
I'm like, the world's dangerous and you're a young woman. You shouldn't shut out the entire world in a public place for 8 hours.
Hey, if she's indoors at a coffee shop, I think that's one of the safer places to be completely shut off from the world.
I know that barista's gonna stab her eventually.
I mean,
yes, but
speaking of that, I thought the guy's speech to all the other NPCs, where
Yeah.
she's like backing him up, and then he's like, gun violence. She's like, oh no, we have fucking tons of that. That's an enormous problem. That actually got me.
yeah, that
I knew it was coming as he was leading in. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be a bad one here, but still hilarious.
Yeah, that was definitely firmly in the part of the movie where I started thinking it was much funnier, and that was one of the first major parts of that for sure. Even if you can see it coming, it's just the way he fully leans into it. Ryan Reynolds really owns that moment. And he's like, "And is gun violence a problem in the real world?" Yes, actually. What?
That's what happens with this movie, where there's a lot of either predictable or like really rough stuff happening. But then Ryan Reynolds will like do a face or deliver something so hard that I'm like, okay, I'm still enjoying this. Literally anyone else trying to deal with this material, it would lose a lot.
Yeah, like this movie is not a Ryan Reynolds vehicle. This movie is a cheap suit Ryan Reynolds is wearing.
Yes, 100%. I really enjoy that a normal person might come into this, and the fact that they have the entire island from the other game in the horizon hidden, they might think that makes no sense at all. But then you read game dev stories where it's like, if we remove this 20 by 20 thumbnail, our engine just doesn't work and no one knows why.
Right.
It's been there for a decade.
It's one of those things that they accidentally did something that makes sense.
Part of me believes there's a draft of this movie, which is very similar to the parts that maybe some of us don't like. And it gets past to game devs who try their best, right? Like the writers have friends in game development. They want to run it past their friends. And it still just can't be corrected fully back to reality.
Oh, yeah. I believe this movie had technical advisors the same way all historical films have technical advisors. They're there. They're on the payroll.
You know, when I sat here and I was like, we need Dr. Aggro for the Free Guy Spoilercast review, I didn't sit there and entertain. He's going to use this as a platform to talk about swords.
Everything in my life is a platform to talk about swords.
Do you have something to say about that new Ridley Scott movie, Dr. Aggro?
Yeah, I didn't fucking watch it.
Because you were on your fucking phone, Aggro.
I mean, coincidentally, yes, I was on my phone during the time, but I wasn't watching it.
Oh, man. So I haven't seen Ready Player One.
Really?
I assume that's a rougher experience than this going through.
Oh, wait, neither have I.
Oh,
I have to assume it's like the
Wait a second, none of us have seen Ready
like
Player One.
I don't think so.
Nope.
What's KZ?
I
Shut
have,
up.
No.
Shut up. Stop this conversation.
Are we going to have to build a new trilogy to go alongside the Capcom one?
Retrograde advance.
Okay, so the trilogy would be this, Ready Player One, and Red Notice.
You just really want to watch Red Notice for content.
Chomping at the
Trying
bit.
to remember Red Notice.
That's the one that's the Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson
Oh,
Netflix
yeah,
show
yeah,
that cost
Gal Gadot.
$400 million, and they said every single person on Earth watched 4 times, but nobody's ever heard of it or can say a single thing from it.
See, what's fucked up about it is I'm indifferent to it. I'm not like for it or against it. I'm indifferent. If it appears in our schedule, I'll do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's really bizarre that they said that, and I don't know a living being who's seen it.
Right. I'm more curious about because they said that.
Well, while there's lots more I would love to talk about with this film because there's so much there. For example, what was your favorite time they played Fantasy by Mariah Carey? We're having a bit of technical problems, so we're going to wrap this. Did anyone else have any closing statements before we get to the review and end this baby?
No.
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 Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, here's how it goes. You give a score 1 to 10. Just a few sentences really summarizing how you feel on the whole thing. And yeah, that's it. We go to KZ.
This film has a comical misunderstanding about how video games work that makes it funny to me. Ryan Reynolds is hard carrying this film. I enjoyed some stuff in the back half and didn't entirely hate chunks in the first half. 5.
Okay. we go to Bob.
Yeah, there's a ton of cringe in this movie, so if you can get through that, there's some actually funny bits that are worth watching it for. I don't by any means say this is a good movie everyone should watch at all. I'll give it a 6 though, because I was actually laughing at points.
Yeah.
Which is not something I expected. Not after like half hour plus of just
I understand. Okay. I guess I'll go, just so I don't go last every time. I genuinely was afraid that this would be a void and pass through me like the movie Jumper.
Stop talking about Jumper.
I still don't know what the fuck Jumper is.
Jumper's a movie. It's a movie-shaped movie. Luckily, towards the second half of this, there's some really enjoyable things like Dude and other writing moments and cool visuals that don't make any sense, like the building unfurling into a serpent that lays down a bridge. It's just neat, and I didn't hate this as much as I was afraid I would have for the first 30 minutes or so of watching it. If they make a sequel, I'm not touching that with a yardstick. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10, though. It's genuinely not excruciating or terrible. It's kind of okay by the end. It's going to be all right. We're going to go to Dr. Aggro for his few sentences in summary.
Wait, Dan.
What?
What if the sequel's called Dude?
Oh, then I'm there day one.
Oh.
It's right. It's an entire feature-length film with Ryan Reynolds' heads digitally grafted onto a buff dude like he's the twin from fucking The Social Network.
Hey, can we get that? Can we get that specific thing as a show, like how they're making a Peacemaker show from the Suicide Squad? Like, you need to spin this guy off, this dude off.
Free Dude.
We now head to Dr. Aggro for his review and number.
I really, really wanted to treasure the good parts of this movie, but there are just too many giant bad parts in it for me. Like, if it was on TV and I still watched cable, I'd watch it if it was on, but I'd change the channel if somebody else came in the room. This movie is a 4 that could have been a strong 6.
And now we go to Mr. Feel.
I got tricked by the reviews, so I expected something much better than this movie was.
I'm so
and
sorry.
I rated it. I rated it harshly immediately after viewing based on that. But ultimately, this is like, okay, imagine you have a giant bowl of rice Chex. There's no sugar or bananas or anything.
Ooh.
It's just unsweetened rice Chex. But sometimes there's a big chocolate chunk.
Ooh.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
This movie is a microwave hallway of caucasity. So if you can deal with that and like the Chex bowl with a couple pieces of chocolate in it sounds appealing to you, you can spend 90 minutes worse ways. You can laugh at how fucking bad all the effects in this look.
It is a constant wavering thing because you get the bad effects in the game and then you get the really bad effects outside the game looking at the game.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Did you have a number, Feel?
5 out of 10.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's our review and spoiler cast for Free Guy. I'm just glad coming out of this movie to know that Dr. Aggro is my Virgil. He's the free to my guy.
Yep. I bet Red Notice is better.
Which one of us will be Red and the other Notice? I don't know. I think the first 30% of this film was good. I thought the last 70% of this film was good.
I bet that the Red Nose is just the bowl of Chex without anything.
Based on everything I saw, yeah.
I mean, there's at least one rock in it.
That's accurate, yes.
And viewers, listeners, don't have a good day. Have a great day.
God damn it.
I like Mr. Feel. He reminds me a lot of that guy from the Apple TV show that everyone likes, sports guy with mustache. Patron saint of white dudes everywhere.
Tom Selleck?
Okay, you know what? Without saying his actual name, I'm going to send you a picture And you're going to tell me whether or not you think this is based on a biopic for Tom Selleck.
Oh, shit.
It looks like flashback Tom Selleck.
This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.